So the biggest question on the Stitch video is, why do so many people want to use the N-word? Because this man right here decided it was a problem that he couldn't use the N-word, especially in music. Well, let me give you the answer, and it goes way, way back in the musical history of the United States of America as to why so many people in music, especially in rap and hip hop, want to use the N word, who are not Black American. Historically, everyone has tried to mimic Black Americans. I am not saying this to start an argument. I'm saying this because it's documented. Okay? White people have a tradition of doing so in the United States of America when it comes to a whole array of things. Okay? But in this case, we're talking about music. This dates all the way back through the 1800s. Let's take a look. In this clip, you see that mainstream society has always yearned African American music. Okay? I'm not making this up. This has always been the case in the United States of America. So when people move into the United States of America and been here for generations and generations, they really don't understand the history behind pop culture. The history behind pop culture is African American culture. No one seems to care to understand the history prior to when their forefathers moved into the United States of America. They just want history to start from when they moved. It's not like that. Black Americans are the force of American music. We have been the dominant force forever. The American music, what people know as American music, is African American cultural music and African American cultural creations. These things didn't just start happening in the 60s or the 50s. No, these things have been happening all the way back through the 17 and 1800s. White people would gain their styles from black people. White people would mimic black people, even in the form of mockery. Now, when it comes to Latin music, they have a very distinct form of music from Puerto Rico to Mexico, everywhere. It's very unique, and it's here in the United States of America. However, it started losing its roots, according to this clip. Okay, it sounds completely different than African American cultural music. This is why they wrote this up in the newspaper, because Puerto Rican music sounds distinctly different than African American cultural music. In order for other types of music to succeed in America, they have to somehow engage with Black America and Black American style of music, or it does not reach where it should reach. And when I say this, you have to keep in mind that popular music comes out of African American cultural music. It didn't just come up pop culture music. No, that's a name they gave it. It's African American music. They just call it pop. Popular music is African American music. Everything has to get the go ahead in the United States of America from African American cultural music, or it's not going to reach where it could potentially reach. And that is history. Okay? Even with the Anglos, they know that. Elvis Presley, the Beatles, all of them had to learn off of Black Americans in order to succeed. They either learned off of Black America or they mimicked and stole a style off Black America. Black America is the foundation of the music here. So when you have people like, let's jump back into the Latin, when there is losing its roots, right? Because It's a distinct sound, and it also has to do with a lot of the topics have to do with love and dating and things of that nature. Especially way back with the Latin music theme. Okay, and that's very cool, right? However, it wasn't cool enough when you step in onto the stage of the United States. If you try and remain solely Latin, you're going to fall off. There has to be, historically, there had to have been some type of connection to African American music, or it's not going to do well. It's not going to do as well. So when people want to use the N word, okay, that's the history behind it. Because the N word is used by African Americans in music, right? And it goes back to mimicry. So why can't I do this too? Because it seems that I need to be able to do this too in order to break free and to go to the highest heights. That's how that's, I'm trying to assume, because I'm not, I'm African American, so I'm trying to assume that's what it feels like when people are trying to use and do and say the things that we say. This goes throughout history, even on this slang terminology, this Gen Z, or I'm not sure what y'all call it, slang, because I know it's just African American vernacular English for me, but Gen Z slang and all the stuff, it roots back to African American culture. And as far as the N word, that's a form of semantic looping, which is historically African American culture to do this. Okay? And everyone, and here's the thing, in Black American culture, not every single Black person uses the N word, but there's still a cultural tradition of semantic looping in the African American culture, period. Black culture has this embedded within it. We will take a word and quote unquote rearrange that sucker to mean the opposite of what it was originally. Now, that is an N word within our group. So if that meaning was started within our group, that particular word remains within our group because of the history. Whatever we change about that particular word, it is going to remain in our group. No one can force us to change that. This word is cultural specific. Just like I wouldn't go around saying a cultural specific word, and I know it is in someone else's culture. Just because they may say it to each other, that does not give me permission to use it. I don't care how often I hear it. It does not give me permission to use it. That's the difference between respecting and mimicking. People like to mimic us. They don't want to respect us. And they don't know the difference.